Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're sharing something super useful for anyone doing hotshot trucking, van life, or off-grid work. Sean just finished building our Chinese diesel heater setup and it turned out awesome. So today we're walking you through the build, the components, what we learned, and how it runs. So let's get into it. So this is Sean's full diesel heater build. We're using one of the standard 12-volt Chinese diesel heater kits. Nothing fancy, just one of those $99 2K setups that many people use for small spaces. He grabbed that yellow case on sale from Harbor Freight for about $45, and we'll put links to the products in the description.
I did a bunch of research online looking at these heaters. They all pretty much look the same. I saw the Vevor brand, I believe it was, had a lot of reviews, good and bad, but it's like anything else. I did learn about them. They put paper Chinese gaskets in them, and I didn't want that stuff in there. So I took that out and put metal gaskets instead of paper in it. I upgraded the base gasket and didn't use the one they gave me, and we used a silicone material instead of that. I didn't want this thing to be noisy going down the road at all. Just when it's not even being used, just driving it. And I didn't want to ever smell diesel fuel inside at all, ever. And a lot of these manufacturers, when you read their manuals and how they install them and whatnot, they want them to be upright position with the ports coming out the bottom. So I wanted to do it that way, so I didn't have to worry about any other problems from doing it the opposite way.
When you're doing hotshot hauling, you spend a lot of nights in the truck, and winter gets cold fast. Running the truck all night isn't an option financially or mechanically. So the diesel heater is the perfect solution. It's cheap to run, safe when installed correctly, and it's really efficient.
So I bought the case at Harbor Freight. I cut the bottom out of it, and I made a heavier piece. It's just like the piece they give you with the diesel heater, the little base plate. I just made a larger, thinner base plate, just like the original one. But this one is I can close the door on the case where the other one was too wide. I couldn't. And this one's a little heavier thickness, maybe double in thickness is what came with it. I bought 2 pieces of metal from TSC. I can't remember the gauge of it, but I will put a link to it, or Dawn will. And I bent them on a vise, and kind of made like basically a hanger. And then the new base plate that I made, I bolted that to that base plate. So the pieces of metal I bought from TSC are basically like L-shaped hanger looking deals, and the new base plate sits on top of them, and everything gets bolted to the case. And then the door itself, I pretty much took a grinder to it. There's no pleasant way of putting it. I looked at it like worst case scenario, I buy a new door if I really tear it up. But I didn't. It doesn't make any noise. That's all I really cared about. But I cut a hole the size of the diameter of the heater itself, and 4 bolts hold it on. What else? The fuel pump is got to be at a 30-degree angle. So I didn't use their fuel hose that came with it because it was real tiny, very flexible fuel line. So I got fuel line from just auto parts store for a car and used it. And the way I bought another fuel tank online that would fit in the case properly. Dawn will put a link to that. That'll fit in this case. And then I put the port on the fuel tank so that it kind of made my 30-degree angle already, so I didn't really have to force it into a 30-degree angle. And then I never attached a fuel pump to anything. They say to attach it to the wall or something or whatever because it has a hole in it to attach. I just never did because I didn't want it to make a solid thump on the case. So it doesn't, it's a little quieter possibly because it's not mounted.
I'm going to make this part of the process sound really easy, but I promise you it was the hardest part. Sean knew how it needed to lay, because it couldn't have a 90-degree bend. So the heater on the bottom running through the door, it really was a pretty straightforward decision. We knew the diesel also could freeze, and the unit needs enough airflow for safe operations. So we figured if the fuel tank was in the yellow case with the diesel heater, that would help prevent the diesel fuel from freezing. So once all of that was considered, along with the fuel pump needing that 30-degree angle, everything kind of fell into place in the yellow bin. Of course, next comes the cutting and the fitting and the drilling.
As far as the exhaust, I'm sure it's pretty self-explanatory. I just rutted it out at a little bit of a downward angle, and I screwed it straight to the door with tapping screws, and I put a little bit of silicone material between the door and the bracket itself. And on the Express and Savannah's, you can still open the door normally and everything. It's just bolted to the door, so there's no problems there. But it's solid, doesn't make any noise, seems to work well.
After he got all the hardware mounted, he connected the wiring harness, the controller, and wired it so that we could use the Jackery. We bought a heavy-duty cigarette lighter plug until he gets that alternator upgraded.
The Jackery, I think it pulls 5 to 10 amps when it's starting up. The heater does. After that, it doesn't use very much. The Jackery is a 290 Jackery.
Yep. Once everything was hooked up, we primed the fuel pump and tried to start it for the first time. After a couple of startups, it did, and we did hear it finally get to that prime process. It did kick in beautifully.
It smoked right off the bat, but then it stopped smoking, I think, the second time around that we primed it.
Yeah.
And then after that, once it got going, the pump was loud at first, but once it got going, it seemed to quiet down after a while.
Yep, and it didn't vibrate like you were concerned about while you're going, so that's cool. Yeah.
I think we have $99 in the unit itself, and then we replaced the fuel tank and bought a few other things. Dawn will put in the description what we have in it, but I know it's way under $300. Yeah. For the price, I can't beat it simply because I had to have it.
It's gonna save fuel, save wear on the truck.
I don't have to go to hotels anymore,
right? And with all the insulation that we've added to the van too, so we'll add a video for that as well. You should be able to sleep really comfortably. That was the goal.
I got a Serta mattress.
Yep. We'll stay tuned. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and we will get a video up of the installation process.